What's up, guys? My name's Stu, and today we're going to be talking about the Kirk Temporal Heavy Battlecruiser. For those of you wondering what the Kirk class is, it's that 32nd century Constitution class we saw in Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. They didn't call this one Constitution because, like Thomas Maroney said on the livestream last Wednesday, there's already like 7 of those in the game already. So like they did with the Voyager J, they picked a name that has a connection to the Constitution class without it actually being a Constitution class. Now, let's get this part out of the way. This is going to be an Infinity promo ship, meaning it's going to be ludicrously expensive. But for real, if you thought this ship was going to be anything but promo, you're either deluding yourself or you haven't been here very long. I was so excited for this ship to hit Star Trek Online. Of all the 32nd century ships, this is by far my favorite and the one I most wanted to fly. But then they released the stats. Here we are, the Kirk class Temporal Heavy Battlecruiser. Like I said earlier, it's a promo ship and it will be hitting the Infinity promo boxes on October 13th. Okay, let's get into the stats. It's got a hull modifier of 1.55, which is kind of high for a battlecruiser, shield modifier of 0.95, it has a 5-3 weapons layout, 3 device slots, and this is where it starts going downhill, the bridge officer seating. 1 ensign tactical, 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 commander engineering/temporal, 1 lieutenant commander science, and 1 lieutenant commander universal/command seat. I'll go over why I don't like this seating when I get through the rest of the stats. It has 4 tactical consoles, 4 engineering consoles, and 3 science. A base turn rate of 9, which is kind of surprising given how big this ship apparently is. For comparison, the Gagarin battlecruiser only has a turn rate of 7.5. An impulse modifier of 0.18, inertia rating of 45, plus 10 to weapons power and plus 10 to aux power. Buffing aux power on a ship like this is kind of weird. It can equip dual cannons, it has a 32nd century cloaking device, it's a full temporal ship so it has the molecular reconstruction beam. It's a battlecruiser, so the only cruiser command arrays it has are shield frequency modulation, weapon system efficiency, and strategic maneuvering, meaning it does not have attract firepower. And it has the usual battlecruiser mastery package, meaning it has some tanking traits but also has a crit severity buff for your weapons. The console is called Field Replicated Buster Pods. Basically, it spawns a bunch of these pods, they select a random target, and function kind of like a torpedo, they just zoom toward it and explode. Also, anything between it and the target will also receive some kinetic damage. It sounds like it could be a decent torpedo console until you get a look at its passive buffs, which provides a passive bonus to all damage resistance as your shields decrease, which really sounds more like a tanking thing. The starship trait is called Risk is Our Business. Activating any captain's ability will grant a stacking amount of temporary hull. The number of stacks will depend on how many foes are within 5 kilometers of you. Additionally, if Threatening Stance is activated, this will generate large amounts of threat toward nearby enemies. Now, for those of you who have seen some of my comments on Twitter, or my comment on Augie's first impression video of this ship, you probably already know I am not happy with this ship. That bridge officer seating completely ruins this thing. Normally with a lieutenant commander command seat like this, you would immediately think, oh, this will make a good torpedo build. But because the tactical seats don't go above lieutenant commander, you have to pick between high yield 3 and concentrate firepower 3. A proper torpedo build needs both. If they'd have just made that lieutenant tactical seat a lieutenant commander and reduced that lieutenant commander science seat down to lieutenant, the ship would have been fantastic. But sadly, they did not. There's some other weird things about this ship too, like that buff to aux power. Auxiliary power determines the strength of your science abilities, so it's almost like they're trying to give you a bit more room with your science stuff, which is weird because it's a battlecruiser. It also feels like they were almost trying to make this a tanking ship. The high hull modifier plus the passive on the console and that trait, it's like they were trying to make a tank without knowing how to make a tank. Because again, this is a battlecruiser. They're not well suited for tanking. They're well suited for doing damage with weapons. During the livestream when they were talking about this trait, I had to laugh because they brought up attract firepower and how that would make this trait more efficient. This is a battlecruiser. It does not have attract firepower. So what is the point of this trait being on this ship? I don't understand the thinking that went into this ship. It's like they were trying to make it kind of okay to do a few things instead of just being really good at one thing, but by doing that, they've just made it underwhelming for everything. So, to sum up, this is not a good ship. It has poorly thought out bridge officer seating. It could have been a really nice torpedo build, but they skimped out on the tactical seating. It has an interesting console with a very bad mismatched passive on it. The click could have been nice for a torpedo build, but that passive is very much a tanking passive. Putting both on the same console is just ridiculous. They should have just made this thing buff kinetic damage or something. The starship trait could be an interesting tanking trait, but because it gives temporary hull, it's kind of unnecessary. The passive on the console hull image refractors basically does the same thing, but it does it automatically. It's not reliant on you activating any abilities, so it's actually better than this. And it's way easier to get because it's just a lockbox console. It's not attached to a ship, so you can just get it right off the exchange. So yeah, it's a bad ship with some kind of interesting but really just underwhelming stuff on it. Definitely not worth the price of a promo ship. Now, the Cryptic devs have said repeatedly that they think not every ship needs to be amazing. While I kind of see where they're coming from, I still really disagree with this approach, especially in this case, and for my argument against it, let's do some math. There's something I never thought I'd say in my life. These days, promo ships have been selling for roughly 1.7 billion EC. That's why you never see them on the exchange anymore. It only goes up to 1.5 billion, so people have been bypassing the exchange and using private trading channels. A common way to obtain that much EC is to buy master keys off of the Zen store and then sell them on the exchange. As of recording this, master keys are currently selling for 10.3 million EC. So 1.7 billion divided by 10.3 million is 165.04854. Let's just round it to 165. So I would have to buy and then sell approximately 165 master keys in order to afford a promo ship. A 10-pack of master keys costs 1,125 Zen when not on sale. So 1125 times 16, that is 18,000 Zen. That is approximately $180 worth of Zen. Now, obviously this price is going to fluctuate with the value of master keys, but I think it sets a good benchmark for the approximate monetary value of promo ships. So, going back to my original point, while Cryptic thinks not every ship needs to be amazing, if I'm going to be spending $180 on one ship that only unlocks on one character, I think it better be freaking amazing, because that's a lot of money. Yeah, that's the ship. It's not very good, and I really wish it was, because I really wanted to want this ship. But I can't justify spending that much money on it with that setup. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It's YouTube, you've all heard it before, but it does help the channel and I really do appreciate it. My name's Stu, and I will see you guys next time.